So, dear students, in this particular session, I will discuss about some of the numerical problems on immediate settlement or elastic settlement. Further, I will discuss about the field procedure of conducting the plate load test and a couple of problems we are going to discuss on the plate load test. And at the end, I am going to discuss the limitations of the plate load test. Okay, so we'll begin with this particular session on settlement. Okay, so the first problem here which is given, determine the elastic settlement of 3 meter by 3 meter footing resting on sandy soil. Given modulus of elasticity is 45,000 kPa, mu which is nothing but Poisson's ratio is equal to 0.3, and the footing carries a load of 2000 kilonewton. Take influence factor IP is equal to 0.82. So these are the data which are given in this particular problem. So, as you know, the elastic settlement or the immediate settlement, which can be calculated by using this particular formula. So, SI is equal to 1 minus mu square divided by E into QB into IF, where mu is nothing but Poisson's ratio, E is nothing but modulus of elasticity, Q is nothing but loading intensity, B is nothing but width, IP is nothing but IF is nothing but the influence factor. So here the loading intensity, as you know, it is nothing but the ratio of applied load to the area on which the load is acting. Okay. So the load of magnitude 2000 kilonewton, as it is given in this particular problem, we have to take in the numerator, divided by 3 meter by 3 meter is the footing size. So 3 square, the square footing. So ultimately the Q value comes out to be 222.22 kPa. Okay. So then width of the footing B is equal to 3 meter, as 3 meter by 3 meter the size of the footing. Then influence factor is equal to 0.82. Modulus of elasticity is equal to 45,000 kPa, and mu is equal to the Poisson's ratio, which is nothing but 0.3 in this particular case. Okay. So if you substitute these various parameters in this particular equation, so then the final answer, which will be 0.011 meter. So usually the value which if you are substituting in kPa and all those are in terms of meter as well as E in kPa, so then final answer will be in terms of meter only. So 0.011 meter, which is nothing but 11 mm. Okay, so this is nothing but what the magnitude of immediate settlement. So this is how we can work out the immediate settlement or the elastic settlement, which will be taking place beneath the footing, or it is nothing but the footing of size 3 meter by 3 meter due to the applied load of 2000 kilonewton on it. Okay, so this is about the solution part. So coming to the next one, that is nothing but the numerical problem number 2. So estimate the immediate settlement of a concrete footing 1 meter by 1.5 meter in size, which is nothing but rectangular footing, which is given here 1 meter by 1.5 meter in size. If it is founded at a depth of 1 meter, that is the depth is also mentioned here, but in this particular formula, nowhere the depth is considered. Okay, so silty soil whose compression modulus is given, so 9000 kPa, which is nothing but modulus of elasticity. Another name is compression modulus. So footing is expected to transmit unit pressure of 200 kPa. So it is a Q value is directly given in this particular problem. Assume IP influence factor is equal to 1.06 and Poisson's ratio is equal to 0.3. Okay, so what are given here in this particular problem? So modulus of elasticity, which is given 9000 kPa. Poisson's ratio mu value is given 0.3. Q is equal to loading intensity, which is nothing but 200 kPa. Then width of the footing is 1 meter. Okay. So then IP is equal to 1.06, and SI, if you are substituting all these parameters, okay. So in this particular equation, the final answer will be 0.214 meter. Okay, 0.214 meter. So which is nothing but the immediate settlement under the footing of size 1 meter by 1.5 meter. Okay, due to the load of loading intensity of 200 kPa. Okay, 200 kPa, right? So this is nothing but what the solution part, okay, of the second problem. So these are the two problems that we had discussed now on immediate settlement or the elastic settlement. Okay. Let us proceed further. So the next one is nothing but the plate load test. Okay. So here the many of you may be knowing the name plate load test. So it is a widely used method or widely used technique of estimating the settlement or bearing capacity. Okay, settlement or bearing capacity. So we can estimate by the use of this particular plate load test in the field. Okay, so it is further rather it is a semi-direct method where it is nothing but we are using the plates of different size, plates of mild steel of different size. Okay, so then we can if we can correlate the whatever the data which we are getting, either settlement or the bearing capacity of that, we are correlating with the actual voting, and that's how we will be getting the value of the settlement or the bearing capacity, whatever it is needed required based on that interpretation. Okay, uh, the nature of the load applied, which is nothing but maybe gravity loading or the reaction loading. If you are using the gravity loading, we have to uh, apply the load by means of the dead weight, okay, dead weights, or by simply putting the sandbags on the platform, we can generate those dead weights which are required. Or if you are using the reaction loading, then we can elevate the load which is required with the help of the hydraulic jack, simple hydraulic jack which can be used. So this is regarding the loading pattern or the loading types with the help of which we can work out this particular test. Furthermore, this with the help of the plate, the rigid plates which we are uh, stacking one over the other in the as per the procedure in the plate load test. So those plates of size from 300 to 750 varying size which we are using, either a square or a circular shaped these plates which will be stacked one over the other. That is nothing but what is you as you move from bottom to top, the size will be decreasing. Okay, size will be decreasing. For example, if you are putting 750 plate downside, so then top one may be 600, and furthermore 450, and over that 350 or 300 uh, plates which can be stacked one over the other. Okay, so in this pattern we are going to arrange. Furthermore, in order to have a sufficient rigidity, okay, in order to have sufficient rigidity, because on which we are applying the load, okay, whatever it is required depending upon the our requirement. Okay, so the thickness, minimum thickness is about 25 of these plates. Okay, these plates of thickness 25 which will be used here. Okay, this will be used here in this field procedure. Okay, so this is about what the quick uh, glance over the plate load test procedure. Okay, whatever the critical points are to be noted, so that have taken in this particular slide. Okay, so then this is the exact uh, field configuration or the setup which is required in the field in order to have the plate load test. Okay, so as you can see in this particular figure, so it is nothing but what the uh, initially uh, pit or the trench which is excavated like this, which is shown in this particular figure. Okay, so then we are going to we are going to insert the plate, or we are going to arrange the plate rather one over the other. That is nothing but 700 450 or 400 and 300 300 300 mm, 300 mm one over the other. So it is nothing but the thickness of the plates will be of 25 mm. So it is nothing but the thickness which is required. So as I said already, it is nothing but what the thickness which is required to assure the minimum rigidity which is required in this particular procedure. Okay, as we are loading or the uh, loading using the reaction loading, or it is nothing but what the gravity loading which will be used in this particular case. So this is the typical setup which is required in the case of the gravity loading. As it is, as you can see here, there is a many number of sandbags which are stacked one over the other on the platform which is provided here. So by means of the jack which we are going to get the load, which you can measure with the help of the jack, what is the loading intensity. Uh, Furthermore, there are number of dial gauges which are mounted here. Okay, so connected with the, that is nothing but loading plates. Okay, loading plates, and another end which will be connected with the diaphragm. That is nothing but what, which is free from any kind of contact of this from this setup. Okay, it will be a free surface. So over this to this those dial gauges will be connected. Okay, so normally the dial gauge of least count 0.002 mm which will be used here. 0.002 mm least count which is prepared here, the dial gauge least count. So that means nothing but what, the dial gauge which are to be fixed here, that means 2 or 3 in number. So which can measure the settlement of or least settlement of magnitude 0.02 mm. So if the settlement in any case, if it is less than 0.002 mm, these dial gauges are unable to record that. So the least count of that dial gauges are selected in such a way that so they can measure at least the settlement of this least magnitude 0.002 mm. Okay. Furthermore, two dial gauges which are required here. So we can take the average reading. So in order to note down the settlement. However, the jack, it is there, which is nothing but what, with the help of which we can able to determine what is the loading intensity. Okay, loading intensity. So this is what the setup which is required in order to perform the plate load test. So as a in the procedure, initially before applying the the loading increment, so usually 7 kilonewton per meter square, the loading intensity, which is called as seating pressure. Okay, with the seating pressure which is applied and then released before the actual loading is commenced. So initially, if you are working there in the field, okay, so if you are excavating up to this particular depth, so as it is required, okay, as it is required, so there may be the small loose air pockets which may be entrapped here. Okay, so the voids which will be there, so that the soil is not ready to take the load as per our requirement. So in order to close this all the air voids, we need a minimum or a standard pressure. Okay, so this pressure is called as what, seating pressure. So seating pressure, so which closes all those air pockets and which makes the soil in the ready condition before taking the actual load. Okay, so this is what it is to be done. Okay, the first increment of the load then we are using is nothing but 1/10 of the anticipated ultimate bearing capacity. Okay, for example, we are aiming at for example 300 kilonewton per meter square. 1/10 of that, so 1/10 means it is nothing but what, 30 kilonewton per meter square. So we are applying, then settlements are recorded with the aid of dial gauges after 1 minute, 4 minute, 10 minute, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, and later on an hourly basis we are going to consider up to the point when the dial gauges are stopping, or it is nothing but they are not unable to record the settlement. So that means nothing but the settlements it is uh, lesser than 0.002 mm. So until that moment, so we have to keep on recording, keep on record the keep on noting the, or keep on observe the uh, load. Okay, so there is nothing but what, the load as well as settlement we have to load is nothing but 1/10 of that, so the 13 kilonewton per meter square, it is fixed, but the settlement we have to monitor like this way, okay, in this fashion. So this what are the procedure, as per the procedure, okay. So then after taking the load and corresponding settlement, so load means if you know the lower plate dimension, so lower plate dimension, for example, 700 uh, mm by 700 mm if you are using, so you can calculate the area of that particular plate. Then the load, you know, 30 kilonewton which is applied here, okay, 30 kilonewton which is applied here, for example, okay. So it is nothing but the load, you know, as well as the area, you know, loading intensity which can be calculated, or you can take the load also, load and settlement reading, or load intensity versus settlement reading you can take, and you can plot the load settlement curve, which is indicated in the next slide, okay, that I am going to show you. So this is the procedure uh, which is uh, summarized briefly here in this particular slide. You can note down this particular procedure. Furthermore, this is regarding the load settlement plot. Okay, a typical load settlement plot, which is shown in this particular slide here. So it is nothing but what the loading intensity, which is nothing but the pressure versus settlement in terms of mm, settlement in terms of kilonewton per meter square. Sorry, pressure in terms of kilonewton per meter square, and settlement in terms of mm, which is shown here in this particular plot. And there you can see different curves. So number one, number two, as well as number three curves, depending upon the soil type. Okay, soil type. Okay. Uh, Forget about this. So we can uh, calculate, so the ultimate load. Okay, ultimate load based on the shear failure criteria. Okay, shear failure criteria. The in the next slide, I'm going to cover. So what are the criteria which we are using here in this particular plate load test in order to calculate the bearing capacity? There are two criteria. So first is the settlement criteria, as well as the second one is first one is settlement criteria, and second one is the shear failure criteria. So as per the shear failure criteria, what we are doing is nothing but this. For example, this is nothing but the curve. Okay, so this is nothing but the curve that we have plotted after conducting the plate load test. So the pressure versus settlement curve. So then what we have to do is nothing but the tangent we have to draw, the forward tangent as well as the backward tangent, as I have indicated. So that we are going to draw, and the intersection point is located, and that particular intersection point is referred, uh, and this particular load which we are, or the pressure which we are going to call it as the allowable bearing pressure. Okay, allowable bearing pressure. So on this we are going to solve the problem also in the later, that is nothing but in the next slide we are going to discuss few problems on this load in this particular plate load test. Okay, so now coming to the different types of curves which I have indicated here, number one, number two, number three. So curve one is nothing but what? It is a typical curve we are obtaining in the case of dense sand or the gravel or the stiff clay. Okay, so there we can clearly get the break point, or it is nothing but what? The yield point, which can be easily identified, and this uh, the intersection point which can be located. Furthermore, the use of that, you know. Okay, so this is how we can work out the failure load. But here in this curve 2, as it is for loose sand or the soft clay, wherein the local shear failure occurs. So first one, in that the general shear failure occurs, and the second one is nothing but the local shear failure occurs. Okay, so it is nothing but in the case of so loose sand and soft clay. Okay, the meaning of this general shear failure, local shear failure, as well as the third one is punching shear failure, that we are going to discuss in the next module. That is nothing but the bearing capacity. Uh, there are uh, there are quite sufficient contents are there in that particular module, so that I am going to take in the later stage. Okay, so here you just at this instance you just try to memorize this. So curve 2, it is for loose sand or the soft clay. Okay, where this the characteristic of this curve is nothing but what failure point is not you are observing clearly. Okay, it is nothing but what it is almost a steep curve. Okay, steep curve. Whereas the curve 3 is nothing but a typical case of C5 soil. Okay, that is nothing but the cohesive soil. C5 soil in the sense cohesive soil. Both cohesion is there as well as angle of interpolation is also present. Okay, so those who are, both parameters are having some measurable magnitudes. Okay, so it is nothing but C is in terms of kilonewton per meter square, as phi is nothing but angle of interpolation measured in degree. So both if the soil possesses both parameters, so then we are going to call it as cohesive soil. Okay, which exhibits the characteristics of intermediate. Okay, intermediate characteristics. So it is nothing but uh, 1 as well as 2 you take, and a third curve which lies in between these two curves. Okay, in between these two curves. So furthermore, they here also the failure point is difficult to predict. Okay, difficult to locate. Okay, in this particular case, in the same case as in the as it is happening in the case of uh, number two. Okay, is curve number two. Similar condition is observed here. So this is regarding what load settlement plot. So and how to measure the failure point, and by the help of this failure point what can be predicted, so that I have also indicated that is nothing but the allowable bearing pressure which we can work out. Okay, so this is about the load settlement curve, right? Yeah, now uh, coming to the settlement prediction. So settlement prediction, till now I had discussed something about the bearing capacity or the bearing pressure. Now in this particular slide I will uh, mainly focus on the settlement calculation, as the module in which we are covering this plate load test is nothing but what the from the settlement point of view we are seeing this particular plate load test. So if you are using this test for the clay, so then we must use this particular formula: S by SP is equal to B by BP. And if you are if you are working on the sandy soil, if you are conducting the plate load test on the in the sandy soil, so then this particular formula to be used: S by SP is equal to B into BP plus 0.3 divided by BP into P plus 0.3 the whole square. Okay, where S is nothing but the settlement of the proposed foundation in mm, and P is nothing but the settlement of the test plate. B is nothing but the size of the proposed foundation in meter. BP is nothing but size of the test plate. And whereas SP, okay, SP is nothing. This is nothing but SP is nothing but the settlement of the test plate in mm. Okay, SP is nothing but settlement of the test plate in mm. Okay, so this is nothing but what the various formulae to be used in depending upon the conditions in we are dealing with. Okay, so for example, if you are using the clay, the first formula, and if you are using the if you are using the if you are working in the sandy soil, so then second formula to be used. All these parameters will remain same. Okay, irrespective of the formula you are using. Okay. Furthermore, in this particular formula, whatever you are using, the permissible settlement value of that is nothing but 25 mm. So this I have highlighted in the previous session. So as per the Indian Standard Code, we are taking the permissible settlement of 25 mm for the building. Okay. So 25 mm we can take the value of S. Okay, S is equal to 25 mm. So that is nothing but the settlement of the footing. We are assuming it as in the permissible range. So 25 mm we are putting, and we have to calculate the value of SP. Okay, we have to calculate the value of SP by substituting the different values of B and BP. B is nothing but width of the footing in meter, and BP is nothing but the plate size. Okay, size of the plate, test plate in meter. Okay, so this is the regarding the calculation part. So how to work out this settlement using these formula. Okay, so now yeah, if you are looking this particular plate load test, on the bearing capacity perspective. Okay, in the bearing capacity perspective. So then we got actually two criteria, as I already mentioned in the previous slide. So which is nothing but what the first one is settlement criteria, and the second one is nothing but what shear failure criteria. Okay, so after calculating the SP value, according to this particular settlement criteria, after calculating the SP value, the corresponding load pressure is red. So that is nothing but load settlement curve. We have to locate the corresponding pressure or the load and taken as ultimate bearing capacity. So there is nothing but what the usual way of getting the bearing capacity here. Okay, then if you are using the shear failure criteria, so then what we have to do? So it is nothing but ultimate bearing capacity. We have to uh, calculate by drawing forward tangents and backward tangents. So at this I had indicated in the previous slide. Okay, and how to locate the intersection point also I had explained already. Okay, so it is nothing but what, by drawing the forward tangent and backward tangent. So this is nothing but forward tangent, this is nothing but backward tangent. We are getting the intersection point, and using this we are extending backwards, so until it meets the horizontal axis, so to get the bearing capacity, ultimate bearing capacity. Okay, so this is what the two criteria, how they can be used in order to calculate the bearing capacity. Okay, yes, so now the problem we will take, and we will try to discuss this particular problem here. Okay, uh, plate load test which was conducted in the field. Okay, in the field, and the data which are given, this particular uh, table which are mentioned here. Okay, the pressure and settlement readings which are given here. Pressure in terms of kilonewton per meter square, the data you can read here: 50, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 and 600 kilonewton per meter square or kPa, and corresponding settlements are 1.5, 2, 4, 7.5, 12.5, 20 and 40 mm. Okay, and the size of the plate was 750 by 750 mm, and that of the uh, pit size, okay, size of the pit 3.75 meter by 3.75 meter by 1.5 meter is nothing but the depth of the pit which is excavated. Plot the pressure settlement curve and determine the failure stress. This is the first sub question. And the second sub question is nothing but a square footing 2 meter by 2 meter is to be found that at 1.5 meter depth of this soil, in this soil. Assuming the factor of safety against the shear failure 3 and maximum permissible settlement 40 mm, determine the allowable bearing pressure. Okay, determine allowable bearing pressure. Okay, so here in this particular uh, problem, what we are going to do is nothing but by taking the normal graph paper. Okay, by taking the normal graph paper, we are plotting the pressure settlement curve, or it is simply called as what, P delta curve. Okay, P delta curve. So P is nothing but pressure, delta is nothing but the settlement. Okay, as you can see here, different points are located here, and the smooth curve is plotted. As you can see here, smooth curve it is. Okay, it is nothing but what, P delta curve, what we are calling. Okay, technically. So then we are going to draw the forward tangent and backward tangent as it is indicated with the dotted line. So if we are getting the intersection point somewhere here, the next job is very simple. We have to extend it backwards or upwards until it cuts the pressure axis. Okay, so in this particular case, Q ultimate is equal to 500 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, 500 kilonewton per meter square, which is nothing but the stress or the pressure corresponding to the intersection point we have obtained here. Okay, so this we have to note down somewhere on the graph sheet. So then from the settlement consideration, if you are using settlement criteria, okay, so then as it is the sandy soil, okay, as it is a sandy soil which is mentioned here in this particular problem, uh, okay, so we have to use this particular formula, SP divided by S. Okay, SP divided by S is equal to BP into B plus zero point 0.3 divided by B into BP plus zero point 0.3 the whole square. Okay, so these are the into SP. Okay, no, this only the formula which we are using. Okay, then if you are rearranging the terms, this will be the final form. So SP is equal to, this S is going to be shifted on the right hand side. Okay, so S into BP plus into B plus 0.3 divided by B into BP plus 0.3 the whole square. Okay, so now if you are substituting, because it is a 40 is nothing but the permissible settlement, maximum permissible settlement in this particular problem is given. Although we are taking 25 settlement in Indian standard condition. So as it is given mentioned already in the problem, which is nothing but 40 is going to be maximum permissible settlement in the field. So we have to equate S as 40. Okay, 40 into remaining parameters are the width of the plate. Okay, width of the plate we are using is 750 Okay, somewhere here it is mentioned 750 by 750 so 7.75. B, okay, B is nothing but footing size, 2 meter by 2 meter, so 2 plus 0.3. Okay, divided by 2, it is nothing but width of the footing into BP, the width of the plate 0.75 plus 0.3. Okay, the whole square. So if you are substituting this, the final answer will be 27 Okay, 27 So 27 is nothing but what? Uh, the settlement of the uh, plate. Okay, settlement of the plate we are getting in this particular problem. Okay, so then the pressure for the settlement of 27 we have to observe now from the plot, from the P delta curve plot. Okay, so the pressure for settlement of 27 this 27 that we are going to locate. Okay, now if you are locating the 27, okay, 27 somewhere here, okay, between 25 and 30. So this is going to be the value somewhere 550, approximately 550, okay, kilonewton per meter square. Okay, 550 kilonewton per meter square. You can work out in the same in your on your the normal graph paper, and you can observe the value also there. Okay, so 550 kilonewton per meter square. This is the pressure corresponding to the settlement of 27 Okay, so 27 how we obtain that, you know now. Okay, 27 So then usually the worst condition we have to select. Okay, for any design. So it is nothing but what? There are two values with us now. So one is nothing but 500 kilonewton per meter square, and the second one is nothing but 550 kilonewton per meter square. Always for the design, we are assuming this as 500 kilonewton per meter square. The smaller of the two values we are selecting, okay, which is nothing but what? 500 kilonewton per meter square in this particular condition. Okay, depending upon that 500 kilonewton per meter square, which is we are calling it as allowable bearing pressure, and the same which can be used in the design. Okay, so this is how we can calculate the allowable bearing pressure based on the criteria. Okay, so it is nothing but what? The settlement criteria what we are using here. Okay, so 27 based on that we have obtained 550 kilonewton per meter square, whereas shear failure criteria we have obtained 500 kilonewton per meter square. So first criteria what we have used is nothing but what? Shear failure criteria, and the settlement, depending upon that, another pressure which we have located here or determined here, it is nothing but what? The settlement criteria. Okay, settlement criteria. So this is nothing but what? There are two criteria that we had discussed in this particular problem. Okay, I hope you understood the concept. So similar we will discuss another problem uh, on this P delta curve. Okay, P delta curve. Okay, so the following data was obtained from the plate load test, which is conducted on the square test plate at a depth of 2 meters below the ground surface on a sandy soil. Okay, on a sandy soil uh, up to a large depth. Okay, so the loading intensity as well as settlement values which are given here in this particular column. Okay, uh, intensity, it is measured in terms of ton per meter square, and settlement in terms of it is measured here and written. So 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. These are nothing but load intensity values. And corresponding settlement values are 0, 2, 4, 7.5, 11, 16.3, 23.5, 34, and 45. Okay, so these are nothing but what? The settlement values in terms of mm. So first and foremost thing we have to do by using this data is nothing but what? To plot the P delta curve. Okay, P delta curve. So P is nothing but the pressure or the loading intensity, and delta is nothing but what? The settlement. Okay. So load intensity was taken along the x-axis and settlement was taken along the y-axis. Okay, all the data points which we have located here. Okay, and smooth curve is used to join. Okay, all these points. So this is the smooth curve. Okay, so now we have to get the loading intensity for which we have to get the settlement. Okay, so in order to get the loading intensity, you know that loading intensity is the ratio of force to or load to area. Okay, so load which is nothing but what? 100 ton. Okay, so which is given here the in the next sentence. It is mentioned that determine the settlement of foundation 3 meter by 3 meter carrying a load of 110 ton and located at a depth of 2 meter below ground surface. Okay, and water table is located at larger depth from the ground surface. So water table is not going to influence the bearing capacity. Okay, so in this particular condition. Okay, so here 110 is nothing but what? The load we have to consider on the numerator, and 3 meter by 3 meter is nothing but what? Footing size, or that we have to consider on the in the denominator. Okay, 110 divided by 3 by 3, the final answer will be 12.22 ton per square meters. Okay, 12.22 ton per square meters. So this is nothing but what? The actual loading intensity, what we are calling it as actual loading intensity. Okay, so now if you are obtaining 12.22 as the actual loading intensity, next is very simple one. So you have to go in the reverse direction. So it is nothing but 12.2. We have to locate 12.22 somewhere here. Obviously 12.2, I think it is difficult to locate. Okay, 12.2. Okay, with the eye judgment you can locate that particular point and extend downward until it meets the P delta curve. So this is nothing but P delta curve. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to get the corresponding settlement now. Okay, if you take the corresponding settlement, it will be 4.5 mm. Okay, 4.5 mm from the graph. Okay, P delta curve plot. It is nothing but 4.5 mm. Okay, this is nothing but what? The SP value it is. Okay, SP value it is. Okay, so here what we are going to do is nothing but SF, that is nothing but the settlement of the footing we are going to calculate. Okay, SF. So it is nothing but SF or delta F. We can we can write as delta F also. So delta is nothing but the settlement of footing. F is footing, P is nothing but plate. Okay, so SF is equal to SP. Okay, uh, into B into BP plus 0.3 divided by BP into B plus 0.3 the whole square. Okay, where SP is nothing but 4.5 mm. B is nothing but width of the footing. It is nothing but 3 meter by 3 meter, 3 meter. Then width of the plate, which has been used here, is nothing but 600 mm. Okay, which is mentioned in this particular problem in the top sentence. Okay, there. In the starting they have mentioned that. So 0.6 plus zero point 0.3 divided by zero point 0.3 into 3. 0.3 is nothing but what? It is nothing but the the plate size. Okay, plate size, zero point 0.3, right? So 0 0.3, then 3 plus 0.3. So 3 is nothing but what? Width of the footing. Okay, so this is what it is given here. Okay, so this is nothing but somewhere zero point 0.6 is there. So this is also zero point 0.6. Okay, you just can change this value and you can write here zero point 0.6, and this is nothing but what, on a 60 centimeter plate which is given here in this particular problem. Okay, 60 centimeter plate. So square plate is it is. Okay, square plate is it is. So 60 centimeter by 60 centimeter. So we must use the BP value as zero point 0.6. Okay, zero point 0.6. Wherever BP values are there, we must use zero point 0.6. So zero point 0.6 here outside the bracket into inside the bracket. B is nothing but what? B is nothing but width of the footing, which is nothing but what? 3 plus zero point 0.3. Okay, so 3 plus zero point 0.3. So 3 plus 3, 3 plus zero point 0.3 inside the bracket, and outside the bracket, what is that? So it is nothing but zero point 0.6 we have to write. So if you substitute all these, so I hope you will be getting the final answer, which is nothing but 33.5 m. Okay, 33.5 m, which is nothing but what? The settlement of the footing, the SF value. Okay, SF value is equal to 33.5 mm. Okay, this is the final answer. Okay, I hope you have understood uh, the concept, okay, of calculating the bearing capacity as well as the settlement using the P delta curve, or the load settlement curve. Okay, load settlement curve, right? Coming to the last aspect, so the limitations of plate load test. Okay, so uh, there are some limitations of this field plate load test. In spite it has got wide application, or it is widely accepted uh, method of getting the settlement and bearing capacity uh, in the field directly. Okay, so it has some limitations also. Okay, first is nothing but what? The size effects. So size effects are very significant. Why? It is nothing but the test plates of size 750 or 400 or 600 or 300, likewise we are using, it is nothing but what, in the decreasing order, as I said. So 750 we are using, over that 600 may be used, over this 450 may be used, likewise. Understood? But whereas the actual footing, it is of a different size in terms of meter uh, we are using, or we are designing. So it is nothing but 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter, or 2 meter by 2 meter, or 3 meter by 3 meter size. Compared to that, the plate size is very much less. So this is nothing but what? The size effect. Okay, it is very much significantly the influencing parameter. Okay, then the next one is nothing but what? The test results reflect only the character of the soil located within the depth of less than twice the width of the bearing plate. Okay, so it is nothing but what? Less than 2b. Okay, so for example, if you are using 750 mm plate, okay, 750 mm plate, so which is nothing but what? Uh, 750, okay, 750 mm plate, okay, 75 centimeter, or 0.75 uh, meter, what we can say, 0.75 meter. Okay, 0.75 meter, right? Now the calculated parameters which may hold good up to the depth, okay, up to the depth, which is nothing but what, equal to 2b. So 2 times of width, 2 times of 0.75, in the sense 1.5 meter up to that depth. So the measured data holds good. Beyond this depth, we don't know what is the what is actually existing, and what is the field condition existing over there. Okay, so this we don't know. So this is the very important limitation, another limitation. Okay. Then the plate load test being a short duration test. It is nothing but what short duration test until uh, the dial gauge, uh, if it is showing the settlement which is less than 0.002 mm, which is beyond the uh, least count of the dial gauge, then we are stopping the loading, stopping the loading pattern or the loading which will be stopped. Okay, so it is nothing but what ultimately a short duration test. However, the actual puttings which are going to be uh, staying there in the field last longer. Okay, so it is nothing but what the compared to the field actual condition, the testing conditions are of quite a shorter duration. Okay, so particularly in the case of the cohesive soil, this effect may be significant. Okay, so then third one, results from the plate load test are not recommended to be used for the design of strip putting. So why? Because we, in the calculation or in the determination of the settlement or the bearing capacity, particularly in the case of the plate load test, we are going to use either square plates or circular plates. Okay, square plates or circular plates which are commonly used here. So if you are designing the strip putting, so the values may not hold good there. Okay, so it is nothing but what, due to the shape effect. Okay, what is existing in the case of the plate load test, what is different from the plate load test if you are designing, if you are going for the strip putting. Okay, so then the last one is nothing but the consolidation settlement in cohesive soil, which may be taking longer duration. So it is nothing but it may require several years also sometimes. Okay, which cannot be predicted as the plate load test is of short duration test. Okay, is of a short term test. It is a short term test. So since it is a short term test, we cannot predict the consolidation settlement, because consolidation settlement, as you know, it will take more time to complete. Okay, maybe a couple of years or maybe more years, several years also. Okay, so these are some of the important limitations the in of plate load test. Okay, plate load test. However, in spite of these uh, several limitations, the plate load test is most widely accepted, adopted method. Okay, in the field, especially in the construction of the multi-storied buildings. So nowadays, so this is the these plate load test. The data from the plate load test uh, is commonly required. Okay, so it is nothing but what uh, all about plate load test. Okay, so I'm going to wind up this particular session, and we will discuss few more topics in the upcoming sessions. Okay, uh, thank you. I'm going to end the meeting here only. Okay.